everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mariana. In this channel I talk about motherhood and I also talk about makeup. Today I'll be talking about the not so beautiful side of postpartum, things people didn't really tell me about before and after I had my baby. I'll be sharing here my personal experience. I am sure there are other moms out there that do go through a different thing and probably better or maybe worse, I don't know. If you did go through something better, good for you. I am truly happy for you because for me it wasn't the easiest time. I did have support from my husband. My family came to visit me from Brazil as well for a short period of time, but they were here. But I'll be talking about like my experience as myself, like as the mother. It is magical to finally meet your baby. It is the cutest thing, you know, that you made him, you made the baby, and it's just, and they're so cute and everything, but it requires a lot of work. Things that I already was expecting for, but some other parts I didn't really know about it, and even though I made a lot of research, I just felt like, I'm a little lost. So I'll be talking about that here. So recently I was part of a campaign for NYX where they released their new collection for maternity, and it just made me feel really good about myself knowing there are other moms out there that they went through the same thing as I did, as the stuff that I'm gonna talk about here. And it's mostly about my self-esteem, and I just loved how they did everything because they got women from all different races with different bodies, different lifestyles, and they're real mothers, real women. It's not models that you hand them the baby and they will be there taking pictures. No, they're real. It's real. And I felt real. It was very empowering for me. It was nothing close to uncomfortable, and I thought I would be a little bit shy or to breastfeed in front of a camera, but no. Me and my baby Theodore, he also had like a great time. I am very thankful for them because after this experience I felt really good about myself. Like now I am in a 100% good place, if you know what I mean. Don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna be talking about like the experience with the baby. I'm just gonna be talking about how it went for me. It's an experience that it makes you feel Wonder Woman, but it also has its downside, and that's what I'm gonna be talking about here. The first thing that was super uncomfortable, first one is constipation. Oh my goodness. So I didn't really know about this because I didn't really do researches about C-sections because I was planning on having a natural birth, so I didn't expect for this to happen. So if you go through a C-section, it's a major surgery, it's a big one. So they move your organs around and everything to get your baby out. And besides that, they cut layers and layers of your skin. So after everything is stitched up, everything's closed together, you know, it's weird talking about this, but you know, after everything is done and ready for you to go, your body takes some time to get back to normal, like for your organs to go back in place and everything like moving around inside of you. So that makes you like constipated, and my constipation lasted for 6 whole days. It was so uncomfortable because it's not nice. They give you pills that are supposed to help you go to the washroom, but for me it didn't work for 6 days, and it's a really bad feeling. The second one, because of constipation, is the bloated body, because I didn't expect to fit on my jeans like right away. I didn't expect to be fit right away. I didn't really care about that. It was just that knowing that your body could be less than that, because I was bloated. And it's not a good feeling because you're sweating, you're not comfortable, you're like, even like your wedding ring doesn't fit your finger and stuff like that, you know. I wish I had more time to spend in a bathtub, just relaxing with some bath salts and stuff like that, because that do help with a bloated body, but I was busy taking care of a newborn, so it didn't really happen. And then number 3 It was my swollen legs and feet. I remember in the hospital when I was being checked out, the nurse said that, so your legs are gonna get really, really swollen. That's a side effect of all the anesthesia and pills that you had here in the hospital. It will get really bad in 2 days, but then it will go back to normal like right away. And I was like, okay, I can handle that. And one thing she was right, it went really bad in the second day after when I was home, but it didn't go back to normal in like about 2 weeks. And I was starting to get like stressed out about it. I was starting to get worried that I had like high blood pressure or something, like I don't know. I was just very, very worried because I wish I had a picture to show here. I didn't take because I was like, my self-esteem wasn't the greatest at that time, so I didn't think that I would like to remember what happened. But my legs were like elephant. They're huge. My shoe size is usually 7. I was wearing boots size 10, and even like that, it just didn't fit in comfortably, you know? So it was winter, December in Canada, was super cold outside, and whenever we would go outside, I would go with these boots because it was cold outside, but it wasn't comfortable. So whenever I could, I would just go with my sandals, because even my sandals, they were struggling to fit on my feet. It was like so bad. And then after 15 days, my legs started going back to normal. And it was from night to day. It was something that happened like really sudden, and I wasn't expecting for it, but I was so thankful to wake up with my legs and my feet back to normal. So number 4 will be the stitches. I am very paranoid. I do not like seeing blood. I do not like medical procedures and knowing what's going on. I don't like it. So having those stitches and the pain that comes with it, it's very bad. They give you a lot of pills for pain control. I try not to take them so much because even though they, like a doctor prescribe it to you and it's supposed to be safe, I didn't want to interfere with anything like with breastfeeding and going through my baby system. Like I know it's very low chances for this to happen, but I didn't want to take the chance. So I took when I really, really needed it only. So the pain is bad. It's manageable because you have other things to do, so you don't really think about it. But the stitches were something real because they were there. And every time I would go to the washroom, especially like trying to do number 2, you make strength. So I wouldn't do it too much because I was so paranoid that those stitches would open and all my organs would come out. And I know it sounds gross, but that crossed my mind 1,000 times. And when you leave the hospital, if you have a C-section, you have a lot of around the stitches. In my case, I had a lot of glue from the tapes. And for me, it took about 2 weeks to clear all the tape off my body because I didn't want to rub very like rough to not bother the stitches. I just wanted to leave the stitches alone. And then number 5 will be the bleeding. Like, I know when you have a vaginal birth, you bleed a lot, but I didn't expect that to happen after a C-section, but yes, you do bleed a lot. So I needed like those really big pads. In the hospital, they give you like diapers, like adult diapers to wear because it's a lot, and it's something that is, of course, it's out of your control. So I didn't expect to have my period taking care of a newborn at the same time. So the bleeding was just something else that I had to take care of when I had already a baby to watch for. So for me, it wasn't nice. It wasn't like a good thing because, of course, again, it was out of my control and I didn't expect for it to happen. And for so long as well, because it lasted for about 11-12 days. My midwife said it was normal, but just to watch for myself and how the blood would come out. But it was considered normal. So number 6 will be the sleep and exhaustion because you don't sleep. I was already expecting to wake up very so often, every 3 hours to be more specific, to get the baby fed. But unfortunately, breastfeeding didn't really work for me in the beginning. So the methods that we used to get baby fed, it really takes some time for you to sterilize and clean and feed, and then baby goes back to sleep, but then you have to do it everything again, sterilize, clean, get ready for the next feed. So when you go back to sleep, baby will be awake in an hour or so. So sleeping is really something that you won't do. But again, I wasn't really expecting for it. I just didn't know that would be so hard in the beginning. My husband was totally with me. He helped me a lot. We took turns to feed the baby. Of course, for the mother it's a little bit harder because sometimes the baby will only fall asleep with you, not with all the help that your husband puts into it. Sometimes it's just you that the baby needs. But we took turns. So whenever he would be taking care of the baby, I would try to sleep. But that's something that people tell you, that once baby's sleeping, you should try to sleep as well. It didn't happen for me because once baby was sleeping, I was just so worried about baby. Like I would make sure that he was breathing every 10 minutes, you know, that he was alive. I would poke him a little bit just to check that he was alive, that everything was okay. So I was the paranoid mother in the beginning, so that didn't really help me sleep. So even when baby was resting, even when my mom and my sister were in the house taking care of the baby, taking care of the house, the dog, cleaning, cooking and everything, I just couldn't sleep because there's so much anxiety about having a newborn there and about your body and about all the stuff that just happened, you know. It's a lot. So for me, it was really hard to rest. So the number 7 would be hunger, because I really thought that after pregnancy, after all those cravings that I had, that my appetite would go back to normal, but it did not. Breastfeeding, even though I wasn't breastfeeding, I was pumping full time, so just the milk production thing on your body is just, it makes you so hungry. For me, it made me like a beast. I was eating more than I was during my pregnancy, and that got me scared a little bit because I was like, oh my goodness, like I really want to go back to shape, but my body just is telling me that I need to eat something delicious right now, you know. So I was very hungry and very thirsty too, all the time. I could be chewing on something all the freaking time, and I needed water. So wherever I was carrying baby with one arm, and then with the other I would have like a snack and a bottle of water, always 24/7. And then number 8 is milk production. So as I said before, I was really hoping to get breastfeeding going since the very beginning. It did not work well for us. So my milk production was insane. My doctor said that my body thought that I was having 2 babies at the same time because I produced way too much milk since the beginning. I didn't know much about pumping. This is not something that in Brazil, it's not something that like I saw people talking about before. So I knew that you could pump. I knew like very basics of it. Like those machines, the electric ones, they were like just, you know, like too modern for me, maybe, I don't know. So it was something that I didn't know much about. But again, nursing is something that I'm gonna be talking about in another video. I just wanted to put it out here because some moms, I know they struggle with low supply. For me, it was the other way around. It was oversupply, and it's just something so uncomfortable, and that made even harder for my baby to latch on. It made my life so hard, and yeah, I'll be talking about that in another video because it's something that I could be talking about for hours. Our experience, our journey with breastfeeding wasn't the best in the beginning. Now we're good. Now we made peace with it. Me and my baby, we're good. But in the beginning, my milk production, it was an issue. It was a problem. It was probably the biggest problem. And then number 9 will be my low self-esteem. I had like really down moments, and people told me about before that I would feel lonely to reach out and everything, like to try not to go through depression and just go into that deep part, but my self-esteem was low, uh, like definitely because of my body postpartum, because all you see on social media is those moms that they're so blessed to have their body back in a couple of days, and they just look as beautiful as they were before. And I didn't see myself beautiful as a mother, and I do love doing my makeup, and because I had the baby, I didn't really have much time to do my makeup, so I didn't feel great about myself. But that was something that it changed day by day. My husband helped too, but it was really hard for me to look at my own body. I was never skinny, I was never fit my whole life, but I never really cared of showing my curves and my body to the world. I do love my body. I loved before the pregnancy, and I love throughout the whole pregnancy. I loved my body. I loved my belly. I loved showing it off. But the postpartum, it wasn't easy on me, and that brings me to number 10, that it's the stretch marks. I never had stretch marks my whole life, even though I am a plus size, and I didn't have stretch marks throughout my whole pregnancy. Just on the last week, I got one stretch mark, and I was like, okay, this is something that would remind me about my pregnancy, and I was happy with it. I was okay with it. But then after baby was born, about 4 days after, all those marks just happened to show on my body, and I got shocked. I was very upset with it, because even though I am plus size and everything, I do like to wear like trendy clothes and stuff like that. So I was very worried about that like on summertime, for example, that I wouldn't be showing my body too much, or whenever we go to the beach or when I go to the pool, I was very, very self-conscious about it. It was a terrible time for me. It was something totally new, and I didn't know how to deal with it. I was using my creams and oils and everything, but I came to learn that it, unfortunately, it's genetics. Like, if your body will go back to normal or will have stretch marks, it really depends on your organism. So of course there are things that you can do to prevent that to happen, and it worked. During my pregnancy, I didn't have stretch marks, but then once my body started going back to its normal size, I got the stretch marks, and I was very I was embarrassed to show, like, even to my husband, for example, and he's my best friend. I was never ashamed in front of him, but these marks, they made me very conscious, like walking around the house even, and that's something that I did not expect going through my whole life. I just did not see myself going through this. And because of the NYX campaign, I showed my body, and as I said, there were moms of all different races and bodies and lifestyles. So seeing these moms that they're very fit, they're beautiful, they're gorgeous, I felt a little bit conscious in the beginning, but then I just saw them as like real women, and I was like, well, this is me. And the photographer made me feel so powerful. She made me feel so beautiful, and she took a lot of pictures of my marks. And for the campaign, we all gave different testimonials, and one of the moms said something that really marked me, stayed in my mind, and I think it's beautiful what she said, and I can relate so much to it. She said that she was never so happy with her body because her body just done something amazing. And that it's true. I have stretch marks on my body now because I have a baby. And I can say that now with so much confidence. It's just marks on my body that will remind me forever about my baby. It's not the beauty that people show on social media. It's not what you see on magazines and stuff like that. It's not the postpartum body that you expect to have. But hey, it's my body. I embrace it completely now. I learned how to love it. And it's not that I go outside showing my belly and look, I have stretch marks because I had a baby. I don't do that. It's not like that. It's just that I am not embarrassed in front of my husband, especially. I am not embarrassed, like even like for my baby, for my family. I am not embarrassed of wearing clothes that I was wearing before. So I am just happy. Like, this is my body. This is what I went through. And here, hey, I have a beautiful baby, a beautiful, happy baby that doesn't even make me think about my body, you know? And when I do, I feel beautiful. I feel gorgeous, you know? I'm okay. I am in a really good place right now. So if you're going through this, trust me, it's gonna go away. It's just a phase. You're gonna learn how to love yourself again. I promise you this. Of course, you have to have support from people around you, but mostly important, from inside of you. It's your mind that talks through in this part. And you have to learn how to love yourself again, because it's what this other mom said. You just done something amazing. You gave birth to a new whole life, and that's what matters the most. So everything that I talked here, all these 10 topics, they were really hard, some of them harder than others. It's not an easy thing. Postpartum is hard AF, but you know, it's worth every second of it, every bad and good experience that you will go through. You just have to look at your baby, be happy with it, just live your life, girl. Seriously, you are beautiful. You are a woman, you are a mother, you are beautiful, you are super. So I did this thing on my belly. I think flowers represent beauty, flowers represent changes, because they're constantly changing, they're constantly renewing themselves. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna do some art on this belly, and here it is. I hope you guys like it. If you have any questions, again, please comment below. I will put the link of my birth experience down below as well, so you guys can go ahead and see. Bye.